How do you respond to the idea that somehow Soutar bought his way out of jail?
Yeah, Mr. Soutar did not buy his way out of jail. In fact, he served a substantial amount of time in prison in New Mexico, more than 7 years, related to the convictions that we received against him for the crimes that he committed, plus for the fact that this case has been in the appellate courts. He's been fighting this case in the appellate courts for most of that time, and the appellate courts upheld the convictions that we got during that time period. So what Mr. Soutar has been able to do is, now that the appellate process is done, he made a motion, which he's entitled to the judge to reconsider his sentencing. And one of the important issues at the original sentencing for the judge, which he said at this hearing this week, is that that he did not believe that the victims would receive a penny of their money back. And so we've been working diligently to help recover restitution for the victims. And this week, Mr. Soutar came up with the money that it takes to make full restitution plus interest to the victims. Plus, he's agreed to pay certain sums to the state and to other claimants from other crimes that he's committed. And he was able to make the argument to the judge then in the resentencing that he had dealt with one of those issues that was important to the judge in the initial sentencing. We argued that the judge should not reduce the amount of prison time that he had given to him in the original sentencing, but the judge, in considering everything, made a determination to allow Mr. Soutar to instead of serving the rest of his sentence in prison, to be on probation. And he sentenced him to 5 years of supervised probation and 10 years of unsupervised probation. During that time period, if Mr. Soutar commits any sort of crime, he can be brought back to New Mexico and forced to serve the rest of the prison time that the judge assigned to him at the original sentencing.
Now, in your heart of hearts, do you think Soutar did enough time in prison and was justice served, really?
Well, I think that justice was served in this case. Mr. Soutar served an amount of time in prison that exceeds the average time that somebody would serve for this kind of crime. He was forced to pay restitution to all of the victims in this case, which is very rare in a fraud case for the victims to gain recovery of their money. He will continue to be monitored. And also in this case there is some justice for Mr. Soutar and for the state, because the judge said that part of the reason for his reconsideration was the fact that Mr. Soutar is suffering from cancer, and so the judge is going to allow Mr. Soutar to receive treatment for his cancer, not at the state's expense, which it would be if he was still serving time in prison, but at his own expense. And so the state actually gains some financial benefit from having Mr. Soutar serve the rest of his time on probation instead of in prison.